Everyone, this is Justin with Black Module Studio. Today we're going to be going over our new series, which is on a 2D game development within Unity. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create a new project. So we'll open up Unity, hit create new project. Go just browse to wherever you generally or normally keep your games. I'm going to go ahead and call this one 2D tutorial and select that folder. Also, I'm not going to import any packages, but we're going to set up the defaults. Instead of for 3D, we're going to select 2D, and that's going to do a couple things. I'll go ahead and hit create. And so the first thing we'll notice is right here in the scene view, this 2D is selected. What that means is that our scene view is orthographic, which means there is no depth. We have our x-axis, our y-axis, but there is no z-axis. We can switch it within the scene view if we'd like to still see within 3D with the z-axis, but that's not what we want. So otherwise it still behaves pretty much the same way. Another thing to notice is our camera right here is set up, the projection matrix is set up to be orthographic rather than perspective. So that's really the biggest thing you really need to do with getting set up in 2D. There's not a whole lot to it. Now, when we get into actually developing, there's a lot more 2D specific functionality. There's a lot of really great features, so that we can capitalize on to really help make 2D games more efficiently and just easier in Unity. So let's go and get started. What we're going to want to do first is I like to just kind of create a couple folders real quick. I usually like to create one for all my scripts, and then I usually create a resources folder, so if I have any prefabs or materials or anything like that, and I need to load them in, they need to be in a resources folder. So I usually like to create those. So then what we're going to do is I'm going to go into resources, we're going to create another folder, and this is going to be for sprites. So let's go ahead and load up a sprite. Ooh, what's going on? There we go. Let's see, where do I keep them? Alright, so we're just going to drag in our sprite sheet. You're going to have to make your own sprite sheet. That's not really part of the tutorial. I'm using my modular spaceships, which is an asset that I have up on Game Dev Marketplace. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to select our, it's just a PNG image. What we're going to first do is we're going to select it, and over here in texture type, because we're in 2D, it's going to default to 2D/GUI. Sprite 2D/UGUI. That's fine, but sprite mode, because this is a sprite sheet or a texture atlas, meaning there are several different components to it, what we're going to do is we're going to change it from single to multiple. And then what we're going to do is I like to set it at point. That basically means it's not going to apply any anti-aliasing or filtering on your image. It's going to keep it as basically looking like pixel art. So the pixels that are there are the only ones that are going to actually show up. So then we can go into sprite editor. We can say slice. We can do automatic or grid. Automatic, if we do that and we say slice, it will automatically go and slice up all these images. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say grid. I'm going to set the grid to 16 by 16 is what I believe I have, pivoting on the center. So yep, there we go. So we slice it up, and then I'm going to hit apply. So now if we go down into our image and expand it with the arrow, we're going to see that we have all these different components. These are all the modular pieces that I use to make little spaceships. So anyways, what I'm going to use is, I gotta find the right one. Where is it at? There's one that I like. I don't know. We'll just use this one. So, as we can see, it's super tiny over here. This is a 16 by 16 image, so it is very small. So there's the little guy right there. So now that we have that in, that's going to be our character. So I'll just call him player. I like to do underscore so it'll stay at the top. So there's our player. Also another thing, since this is, I guess this is going to be a space game since that's what I imported. I'm going to change the background to be black. So it's like space. So we have our little space game.